people are making these Confederate statues out to be something other than what they actually are, just a reminder of our war history. What are your thoughts tonight?
Well, I think that you move towards a totalitarian state when you start creating what Orwell described as a memory hole, and you decide which parts of the past you want to erase. And then you have to lie about who you are. You know, it's very funny. The left has decided that Robert E. Lee is unacceptable, and yet in 1975, Senator Joe Biden voted to give Robert E. Lee his citizenship back, something he'd lost in the Civil War. So there's remarkable changes. I think that the whole effort on the left to erase American history is wrong. I think people ought to stand up for it. You're not standing up for the values of those people. You're standing up for the fact that they were a significant part of American history. They deserve to be studied as part of American history. And I think that, in fact, studying the role of slavery and the Civil War helps you better understand America.
Well, it understands our scars, our lessons, the great struggle for independence and freedom for all people. And it's bizarre. Have you been to New Orleans, where Lee Circle is, Newt? That huge pedestal?
Yes.
Where they just removed, Mitch Landrieu just had that removed in the middle of the night. I don't think anyone even knows where that went. I don't know how much money it's worth, but now it's just a stark reminder of this Taliban-esque approach to American history. Not endorsing, no one's endorsing slavery, but I think they're just saying, okay, this is what we came from, and I think we should build new monuments, new memorials to expand the conversation. It's very odd. But I want to move on to the dirty politics going on in Washington, Newt, because President Trump's refusal now to cooperate with these endless Democrat subpoenas, it's now intensifying the Democrats' push for impeachment. Let's watch.
I think the president has escalated the conflict with Congress.
We're prepared to fight tooth and nail. The president has cast the gauntlet. He's prepared to fight us tooth and nail, and we're prepared to fight him back.
Well, finally they got around to invoking executive privilege over at the White House, which I think they should have invoked a long time ago when McGahn was in the White House counsel's office. But what's your advice to the president in this pitched battle?
Well, I'd start with the obvious reality. A Republican Senate is not going to convict the president of anything. It's not going to happen. Therefore, the Democrats in the House can jump up and down, they can scream, they can hold their breath until they turn purple. It doesn't matter. They're not going to have any ability to get anything done in terms of impeachment. So my recommendation to the president is these people have proven that they have no interest in the truth, they have no interest in the facts, and if you give in, they'll just demand more. And so I think he's very wise to draw a firm line in the ground and say, no, we're not going to cooperate. As I also think Attorney General Barr is very wise to not agree to allow lawyers who are on the staff to ask questions, because it changes totally the relationship and frankly allows purely professional politicians who are trained lawyers to sit in there and spend weeks preparing ways to try to trap them. Barr will do fine against members of Congress, but nobody is going to go in against a whole series of very, very well-trained staff lawyers and do very well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's preposterous. This is only being done for politics' sake. So, as you mentioned, so Barr shows up tomorrow. There's going to be 2 days of testimony about, 24 hours after this reported Mueller letter dropped. But as you know, Barr says he's not going to show up for the second session if Democrats don't back down on their demand for like an extra hour of questioning by lawmakers and committee attorneys. So Jerry Nadler is saying, well, Barr, as in the Attorney General, just not going to have a choice, Newt.
Well, of course
it's not up to the Attorney General to tell the committee how to conduct its business, or we will decide what the most effective way of asking questions are, and that's what our decision is. If he doesn't show up on Thursday, we'll have to go to subpoenas.
Well, I guess bring it. We'll see you in court.
Yeah, look, again, the subpoena normally is unenforceable. They're not going to be very effective in subpoenaing the Attorney General, and they end up looking the more they do this, the tireder the country's going to get. And in that sense, I think Trump has a shrewd understanding that if he can get the Democrats into publicly being so focused on this kind of game, that the country will begin to be very tired of the Democrats as people who aren't trying to help solve America's problems.
And Newt, I have to ask you about the timing of this leak tonight of the Mueller letter to Barr, which is being completely mischaracterized. People are frothing at the mouth at the other networks. And they're like, oh, well, look, Mueller was telling him he's mischaracterizing the report. It's so patently ridiculous on its face, like Bill Barr would totally misrepresent the report that was about to be released. It's crazy. But what do you make of this timing of the leak?
Well, I assume somebody wanted to leak it to maximize the embarrassment to Barr and to set up the questions for the hearings the next 2 days. You know, look, the deep state in Washington has played these games for the whole history of the country. This is not something new. Both Jefferson and Hamilton used to subsidize newspapers to attack each other while they were both serving in President Washington's cabinet. So we've had a long history of this stuff. But I think, again, it's one of those places where after all the noise, you just shrug your shoulders and say, so what? Mueller had every opportunity to come out the day that Barr released his letter. Mueller could at any point have decided he wanted to refute it. And as I understand the actual key sentences, the distortion is by the news media.
Right, that's
the
what he was
distortion is not by Barr.
Yeah, he said, I don't disagree with your. He said, I don't disagree with the outcome of your synopsis, but it was the way the media was pounding.
Laura, think about this though. The media that Mueller's complaining about are the people who are now using Mueller's complaint to try to further distort what's going on. I mean, you